Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be learning how to identify a fat phobe. What is a fat phobe, you might ask? Webster's dictionary defines a fat phobe as somebody who participates in fat phobia. I'm just kidding. There's no definition in Webster's for that. I pulled that out of my ass. Today we're going to look at a few clips of various people complaining about fat phobia, as well as a clip of somebody teaching us how to identify a fat phobe. I recently started up channel memberships. For $5 a month, you'll get a badge next to your name, access to custom emojis, as well as top priority in my comment replies. A join button is below, and if it's not, there's a join link in the description of this video. Also, please be sure to check out my Facebook, Instagram, and Discord server, all of which are linked below as well. Before we proceed, please click the like button so that I may apply comb to mustache.
Let's talk about fat phobic behavior.
It's about time.
This is gonna upset some people. If you're new here, hey, my name's Meg. I'm a New York City-based actress, educator, motivational speaker, and I went through a pretty dramatic weight loss.
I have never seen somebody that looks more like the name Meg in my life. That's not an insult. Educator. Okay, we're gonna get educated right now.
And now I talk about it on TikTok. In order to identify fat phobic behavior, we need to define it. By definition, fat phobic behavior is the aversion or the irrational fear of obesity or obese people.
Right, which doesn't exist because it's not irrational to fear becoming obese. Being afraid of obesity is similar to being afraid of a shark. It's legitimate. Both of them are bad for you. Although I'd say you're a lot more likely to be obese than get attacked by a shark.
When it comes to the topic of obesity, all I care about is that people are physically happy and healthy. I am not a doctor. We are not here to judge people on what they physically look like. And
well, if you're physically obese, then you're not healthy because the tissue itself is bad for you. So it's not just superficial.
Unless you are their doctor, you cannot comment on their body or their health. Thank you.
Sure I can. If you post something on the public internet, I can comment on it.
When I was a size 18, people treated me very differently. So let's talk about some of my favorite examples of fat phobia.
You've lost the weight and you're still living in the past and getting butthurt about the supposed fat phobia that happened in the past, right? It's not healthy to dwell on the negative interactions that you've had with people, especially when you've moved on from that and completely changed your life and you're a whole different person now.
Is the trope we see a lot in like teen rom-coms where the fat, unpopular girl suddenly scores the star quarterback or the really athletic skinny boy. Typically in those plot lines, at some point in the story, that character is made fun of, shamed, or told how they look is bad, wrong, or disinteresting to other people.
Okay.
By putting this plot line into movies, we're making it seem abnormal for a larger person to date a smaller person.
Take it up with Hollywood.
Can't people just date whomever they're attracted to?
No. Not if you use a movie as some sort of guide for your life. I would recommend not emulating movies.
Another example of fat phobic behavior I heard a lot when I was bigger. Whenever I went to the doctor, they
So your first example of fat phobia was movies.
always told me, well, maybe you don't feel well because you're overweight. Right, my weight's the problem, not my underlying medical conditions that didn't get addressed until I lost the weight and the doctors took me seriously.
Oh yeah, what medical conditions? What conditions did it turn out that you had that weren't related to your weight? You can go ahead and tell us. Oh, none. It was the weight. Thank you.
But I think the biggest example of fat phobia is
Adipose tissue is hormonally active, so it interferes with your entire body, dude.
this idea that larger people are lazy and don't take care of themselves. I know both large and skinny people who do not take care of themselves, who don't live a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, and one of them's in a caloric surplus and the other is not. Hence their current state.
And yet a majority of harassment using this argument is towards fat people. I'm not saying skinny people don't have their own set of problems. I will never say that. As someone who has lived their life in a size 18 and a size 6, I have seen both sides of fat phobic behavior.
People have called me fat and stuff before, but now that I'm an adult and I've grown up and I'm no longer fat, I'm not harping on that. Why would you be harping on the people that called you fat years ago back when you were fat? You've moved on, dude. At least physically you've moved on. Now it's time to move on mentally and emotionally because you still seem to be stuck in the past.
From my friends and my community, but mostly on social media. And if you don't believe
It's so stupid to cry about how people treated you back when you were overweight, man. That is so dumb. It's over. Let it go.
me, scroll through the comment section of a larger creator's content, and you'll see just how many of those comments are rooted in hatred and fat phobia. And it's this type of behavior that helps me encourage body acceptance, meeting our minds and our bodies where they're at each day.
Well, you decided to lose weight to get healthier and change your entire life, so why wouldn't you encourage others to do the same? You're like, I lost weight for, whatever reason that was, but you guys don't need to. You guys don't need to. You're beautiful and fine the way you are. Don't be like me. All right, so we won't follow in your footsteps and lose weight and become healthier. We'll just accept ourselves the way that we are so you can take all the hot men. That's what this is. She wants all the hot men for herself. She's encouraging everyone else to get larger while she gets thinner and thinner. How dare you? And I'm on to you. Cut the shenanigans. You just want Billy to pay more attention to you than me. That's what this is. Next, trigger warning, intentional weight loss. And that's all I need to see. I cannot look at content that contains intentional weight loss. Thanks for warning me. I almost got triggered right there, and then I would have had all kinds of feelings. What would I have done then?
If you want proof that fat phobia has nothing to do with health and
I do.
everything to do with aesthetics, I've lost over 100 pounds, and as a result, I have loose skin, and I'm told over and over again about how ugly it is and how unattractive it is. And
Because you lost weight and have loose skin and people give you a hard time for it, losing weight has nothing to do with health and everything to do with aesthetic. No, people are just jerks, man. I'm not trying to make the argument that every person that leaves a negative comment on somebody's feed is trying to help them. Not at all. A lot of these people are just jerks, dude, and they're trying to dunk on you to make themselves feel better. But you have to understand that if somebody's going out of their way to try to dunk on you, that's a very weak and insecure person.
nobody seems to care about the fact that the reason that loose skin is there is because I lost over 100 pounds and changed my health entirely. Interesting, isn't it?
All right, well, I'm sorry if people have given you a hard time for your loose skin because they said it looks bad or whatever, but that doesn't mean that the only purpose to weight loss is to look better. It serves many other purposes. I'm sure you've noticed how much easier it is to get around now that you're not carrying around all this excess adipose tissue. Unfortunately, the skin is not that resilient in a lot of people. If you get to a certain size and then you lose the weight, you're going to have that skin surgically removed, unfortunately. Next.
This person says, I don't want to be fat because I have been before and it was uncomfortable. I am also so much healthier now, so why would I ruin that? In that last video, when I asked, why do you not want to be fat? It was to get you to think about the reasons behind not wanting to be fat.
Yeah, they said for their health and various other reasons that were all valid.
I'm not suggesting that everybody try to become fat because fat is better somehow. But one of the main things about fat phobia is that we assume fat people are unhealthy because of their fat.
There's no assumption about it. Adipose tissue makes you unhealthy. The tissue is hormonally active, and it throws all of your body completely out of whack. It's also almost like having chronic inflammation all over your whole body.
But even if every single person on this planet ate the same foods, did the same exercise, we all lived the exact same lives, there would still be fat people and non-fat people.
Because everybody is a different height, that statement is correct. If somebody that's 5 feet tall eats the same as somebody that's 6 feet tall, one of them's going to be fat or one of them's going to be skinny or what? A whole nother foot of human is going to require more calories, and a whole foot less of human is going to require less calories. Either way, the point that this person is trying to make has nothing to do with height. They're acting like food sticks to different people differently because of their genetics. It does not. Your genetics only determine how you're going to store the fat. It might go all to your butt, just like your grandma.
And there are some healthy habits that you can adopt that will probably make you lose weight.
So doing healthy things makes you lose weight. Because weight is not healthy. Okay. Thank you for confirming.
So let's say, for example, that I don't want to drink soda because we know soda is not good for you.
Why is it not good for you?
If I am previously a soda drinker and I give up drinking soda, there is a good chance that I will lose weight from that.
What do you mean? You just got done saying that if everybody ate the same, some people would be fat and some wouldn't. Now you're implying that certain foods or drinks have a different caloric value than others and will affect your body differently? That's fat phobic.
But even if I did not lose any weight from cutting soda out, the cutting out of the soda is the healthy habit.
If you think that soda is bad for you, you need to think about why it is bad for you. What is in the soda that makes it bad for you? And is that same ingredient that's in the soda that's bad for you also in other foods that you regularly consume? Sugar.
In all the videos that I've made about this in the past couple days, I was very clear to say intentional weight loss, because that's what I mean when the intention is weight loss and not health.
Right, it's not okay to intentionally lose weight, but it's okay to do healthy behaviors that might result in weight. Like, you're really playing a lot of wacky mental gymnastics to try to stay a part of a community that gets angry when you try to lose weight. That's what this is. The whole term intentional weight loss was made up by people in the fat activist group to use anytime one of them loses weight. Then they could just be like, oh, sorry guys, that was an accident. What a bizarre ideology, right? You can lose weight, but just not on purpose. If you did that on purpose, now we have a problem. You're not part of our community anymore. Okay, that was an accident then. Am I still one of the big, beautiful babes or what? Sorry guys, I accidentally lost all that weight and got healthy. I didn't mean to. All right, as long as it wasn't intentional. Don't you dare try to better yourself. None of us are.
But because of fat phobia, we conflate them to be one and the same thing, that being fat is bad health.
Well, if you knew how to read, you could Google this in 5 seconds and learn that fat is bad for you. Adipose tissue is a complex, essential, and highly active metabolic and endocrine organ. It means that if you have excess adipose tissue, it will mess up your hormones and metabolic processes. You cannot be healthy with all that adipose tissue on your body. It's not just superficial, it's not just the way it looks. I know that you're not used to feeling any other way, but when you lose that weight, you stop feeling like garbage all the time. For a lot of people that have lived in a larger body their entire lives, they don't know any other way.
Being thin is good health.
Well, you're not necessarily healthy if you're thin, but you don't have the problem associated with all that excess adipose tissue.
And statistically, if you're going based on the mortality rate, people who are slightly overweight are actually the healthiest group.
No, they're not. People in the best shape of their goddamn lives are the healthiest frickin' group.
Most of our research about fat and its effects on the body are not done well either.
Your research is much better. FluffyKittenParty.org. Or was it .com?
All of these studies are also based on the BMI, which is also not accurate and has racist origins.
Even if it did have some kind of dicey origins, that wouldn't make it any less legitimate. But it doesn't have dicey origins to begin with. Whole lot of copium in that clip, huh? Next. Alright, this one isn't necessarily particular to fat people or whatever, but I thought it was interesting, so let's watch.
If you weren't conventionally attractive, you weren't really allowed to feel good about yourself.
That's correct.
Because there will always be people chomping at the bit to tear you down.
Yeah, people are jerks.
Because how dare you not hate yourself? How dare you not exist in a perpetual state of shame and self-loathing? Because I, a stranger on the internet, am who decides what you are worth, not you.
Well, whoever you're making this in response to, you're just letting them win by getting all butthurt and showing all these emotions about it. So I wouldn't recommend that. I would recommend not even responding to those comments, because this is what they're trying to get out of you. If people are constantly leaving you negative comments, the last thing that you want to do is engage with them, especially all of them, and make videos about it. Now you're going to go into lolcow status. Like I said in that other video recently, like when somebody tries to bully you, you don't go on there and be like, hey guys, that really hurt my feelings, because the bully's going to be like, oh good, now I'm going to bully you more. That was the whole point. I'm trying to hurt you. If you come to me and you're like, hey stupid, feel bad, should I be like, okay, yes sir? No, I should be like, fuck you, buddy.
Because God forbid you actually like yourself if you weren't conventionally attractive. If you don't look the way I want you to look. If you don't act the way I want you to act. If you weren't the person that I have decided you have to be.
Alright, calm down.
You don't meet my expectations, and therefore I have decided that you don't deserve to feel good about yourself. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't.
Well, luckily, whatever random commenter that left that for you doesn't mean anything. These people are nothing. Quit giving them life. User 1234567 is really getting to you like this?
Because God forbid I don't sit in a corner and try to make myself as small as possible so that...
Well, that would be silly, right? You can't alter the size of your body just because you tucked your arms in or whatever. We've been over this.
You don't have to remember that I exist. But it's not really about me, now is it? It's about your discomfort with people that you have decided are undesirable.
Who is this in response to, man? They really got to you.
But that's your problem to deal with, not mine. Because you don't get to make me feel small.
Dude, they made you feel all kinds of stuff. Look at this video. Had you not uploaded this, you could have pretended that it didn't affect you. But after this, it clearly did.
Because of your inability to cope with the fact that you didn't get to play God and decide whether or not I got to exist and make myself known.
Okay. This is coming off like a sermon, like you're preaching to me. Like, I get to make myself known, and all of this stuff is making me feel all kinds of blah, 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 blah. Like, dude, you're giving this person what they want. Knock it off.
And I'm going to continue to like myself, whether
Is that what this is? Liking ourselves?
you like me or not. Because I didn't work this hard for my self-esteem for someone as insignificant as you to take it away from me.
Yep, you're so insignificant that they went and made this video talking about how badly your words have affected them. And almost crying. I'm not trying to make fun of that, but this is the dumbest way to respond to criticism. Seriously, you're making yourself a lol cow. Alright, so that was bizarre, and I don't recommend dealing with criticism in that fashion. When people online leave you negative comments, that is the exact reaction that they're going for. They want to hurt you with their words, and if you respond back in the comments, then they know that they have. If you make a whole video about it, they know that they've really got you, and they're going to double and triple down on leaving you those negative comments. You almost cried in that video. If we send you another comment, we might actually get those tears to flow. I'm sorry, but that's how people think. They're terrible. People that are going to leave you those kinds of comments are pathetic in their own lives, and they're choosing somebody who's like the lowest common denominator. Whatever random person that stands out in society is looking different, I'm going to unload all of my own insecurities onto you. You should see it for what it is. That person that left you whatever comment that made you respond that way is clearly insecure as hell and pathetic in their own lives. Now you've just elevated them up a little bit. They're like, well, now I don't feel so bad about my life. I got this person all upset. Don't give the trolls what they want, folks. Come on. So besides that last clip, all those other clips were just various stories about fat phobia and how to spot it. The first one was Happy Tuesday or whatever day I decide to upload this video. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.